Today on the show, we're going to talk about the mutants from the Marvel Universe. So the first mutant, Namor, was created in 1939, but the term mutants as we know and use it today wasn't created until the 1960s with the release of the original X-Men. So as the story goes, and I really emphasize as the story goes, apparently Stan Lee wanted to create a team of characters without having to come up with an origin story for every single one of them. So he created the idea of a bunch of kids going to a school for kids with superpowers, and he created the term mutants. Obviously, to balance this out, other characters had to become mutants as well, because it was no good just having these few characters that were mutants and they're fighting for mutant rights. So what are mutants? Well, they are called the Homo superior by scientists, and they are considered the next stage in human evolution. They have an X gene that gives them some manner of ability. Mutants are feared in the Marvel Universe because, well, look at our universe. How many previous incarnations of human evolution do you see walking about? None. For some clarity though, people like Ms. Marvel, Spider-Man, and the Fantastic Four, who gain their powers through external forces, are called mutates, not mutants. Mutants get their powers from their X gene, not from anything else. People that gain powers from being bitten by a radioactive spider didn't have that inside themselves, so they are mutated. Typically, mutants' powers manifest around the age of puberty, although they have been known to manifest much later in life and even much earlier in life. Obviously, there is some terminology when it comes to mutants that I do say a lot. First off, we have secondary mutations, which is either a second power that a mutant gains in their life, or a physical mutation that goes along with their power. A good example of this is Elixir. He has the power to change people's biological structure, which he uses to heal people, but one time he had to heal himself, and this gave him the secondary mutation of having gold skin. Then some mutants might all look similar or have similar powers, and they are actually a subrace in mutant kind. The best examples of this are the Neothem and Cherubim. The Neothem are these demonic-looking mutants that live in the Brimstone dimension, and their powers vary from mutant to mutant, but they have blue skin and red skin, and some actually have white skin, and fangs and horns and fur, and just look demonic. Nightcrawler of the X-Men is actually half Neothem, and his father is actually the leader of the Neothem. The Cherubim on the other end of the scale were angelic-looking mutants who were moral fanatics. You are either good or bad, and there was no in-between. We don't know if any of them remain officially, although Angel and Icarus are implied to be their descendants, as both of them have blood-based healing powers, and both of them have wings. Then a term you've probably heard me say a load of times before, an Omega-level mutant. What is a Omega-level mutant? Well, we don't know. There's no official definition of an Omega-level mutant, but from the looks of things and from the use of the terminology, it seems to be a mutant with fantastically powerful psychic abilities, or has the ability to manipulate a large amount of mass or create a large amount of mass. Official Omega-level mutants consist of Jean Grey, Kid Omega, Iceman, and Elixir, and then Dazzler and Storm are both implied to be Omega-level mutants as well. Then M-Day is something that we obviously need to talk about. One day, Scarlet Witch lost control of her powers, went totally insane, and depowered 91% of the world's mutant population. The people that were depowered didn't even have an X gene inside of them anymore. It was gone. Their powers were gone. A few years after this, the Phoenix Force would return to Earth to use Hope Summers as a host to restore the mutant population. And this would cause Avengers vs. X-Men because the Avengers were convinced that the Phoenix Force was coming to Earth to destroy the Earth, when that wasn't the case at all, and the X-Men the whole time were like, no, that's not the case, but obviously the Avengers didn't listen. So after a whole ordeal, Hope Summers and Scarlet Witch were able to work together to restore the mutant population using the Phoenix Force. But only a handful of previously depowered mutants regained their powers, meaning this just gave birth to a whole new race of mutants. One final bit though, and this applies to all characters in all universes, but especially to mutants. Don't be hung up on a character's powers. The powers do not define the character. It's their emotions and interactions with other characters that define them. Powers and abilities can be interpreted in 1,000,001 different ways, so that's why you should not let them define a character. Love a person for who they are, not for what they can do. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. So what do you think of mutants? Please let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And also don't forget to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, support the show by checking out my Patreon so I can make bigger and better and more history videos. And also don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective.